Here we are.
Nice
16.
forced smile by Dan.
Yeah, it's just late. It's not your fault. We'll talk about it today. I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood.
Sorry,
You know
brother.
what I'm
I
saying?
mean, I'm your friend.
Yeah.
We're here for each other, and Dan was just telling me before this, like he had a week, and I said, well, let's vent about it. That's what the podcast is for. We're
It
two old
is.
men, and we
It
like to
is.
complain, and sometimes
Oh,
we have to complain.
I got some serious complaints.
Is one of them the job search?
Yeah, yeah, I got a whole rant on that. But programming note, we will be having the young girl guests
Oh
in the
my
near
God.
future. She's into it. She found someone who wants to do it. It's going to happen.
Oh no.
What are you worried about? Like, they're just people.
Okay.
They're just people, Bruce.
All right.
Seriously. Like, I don't know why you're so worried.
Why is your camera so high up? Like, it seems like your camera is.
It is because it's on top of the monitor. The monitor is like really tall.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can do.
We're getting a lot of forehead. You know what I mean? Like we're getting.
Is that better?
Oh, that's very nice.
Okay, let me.
Very handsome. He's got his he's got his tank top on, his 3-day stubble, and his Iron Maiden tattoo, and his
it's
Cuomo Rivers glasses. I love it.
It is emblematic of where I am right now.
So what's going on in the world of Dan? Like, I understand you're not having a good week. What's annoying?
Let's get right into it. So, okay, I have had the same gig. So I've been self-employed a very long time, like almost 20 years. I'm a coder. I write code for a living. I charge hourly, and I've had this gig with a large company. I will not name them. A large company for the past 3 years, and it's generally been pretty good. Like I like the people. They've been nice to me. I'm a contractor, so I don't have to deal too much with the bullshit,
Right.
But there's been a shift, and it has become really miserable, like just miserable. I don't like it anymore. And I'm trying my best. You and I have discussed this. I'm trying to sort of not give a shit and be like Peter Gibbons in Office Space, where he just doesn't care. He does the bare minimum,
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just not built that way. It's hard.
It's tough. It's tough to not give a shit about your job after being raised the way we were, to do a good job no matter what. And then now you're like, well, you got to do the quiet quitting thing and just kind of like not give a shit. It's hard to not give a shit.
It's mainly that it's sort of your stereotypical situation where they are now asking me to do way more than what would normally be reasonable for one person.
That's what they do. They start adding responsibilities to things you got to do.
Now, bear in mind, I'm hourly. So it's not like it's salary where they're saying you got to do this. And I mean, so it's different. I bill for it, right? But it's just become kind of miserable. So, I figured, okay, well, I haven't really been out there in a like my last real job search was 99, like 1999. That was my last real
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I'm like, let's give it a shot. So
no.
I put this together, and I just figured.
Graphic says job hunting over 50, a pride swallowing siege. Yes.
Right. So here's what I thought. I was naive. I thought, man, I'm just a catch, because I'll tell you why I'm a catch, because I'm very experienced and I do not need to make a lot of money. So like, I'll take a gig that I like for what is cheap, and they would be getting a really experienced person.
That's what you're thinking. Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, they're going to love me, because it's like, wow. So Dan, you've been doing this for a long time, and, and wow. So anyway, here's where we're at. So let's talk about the Heeb's qualifications. Okay.
That'd be fun.
Okay.
Jesus.
So the Heeb qualifications. Number one, Ivy League degree. I had graduated from one of the top colleges in this country. Okay.
Dartmouth. He's flexing. It's very nice school.
I've got the credentials. I've got the credentials. You can't say I'm not.
Good
I
for
got
you.
the credentials. Okay.
No, he's
that
good.
doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. I also have a master's degree.
Oh, wow.
So, whoa. guy's got a master's degree,
Yeah, well,
right?
those are two big, heavy-hitting things right there.
I have 25
25 years
years
as a coder.
in the business, so I've been around the block,
What's
right?
not to like?
What's not to like? And I'm about to get to the last part, and you'll see it's in red.
Ah, self-employed for the past 18 years. And you're smart to put it in red because an employer looks at this and goes, ooh, we don't like that.
So
This guy is not controllable. He's been out there free range, raw dog in life for the past 18 years, not being beholden to anybody. He's like a wild stallion out there.
right.
You know.
But I was naive, and I'm like, well, I'm unlike most people my age, and so are you, in the sense that we don't have children. I really don't need that much money. I don't. Like I'm working. I mean, I need some money, but I don't need to be. I'm not one of these people who's got to make 200 grand a year to support myself. I don't need that. Like I can work on
You actually don't need a living wage. Most people
Well, I need a
wage.
living wage, but what I mean is what's market rate for somebody my age in this business, right? And I can work way below that. I don't have an ego when it comes to money. I don't care. I just want a daily gig that I enjoy, where
and a steady income stream
and a nice, decent income. Doesn't have to be a lot. So I was thinking, wow, this is going to be easy because I'm so experienced and I don't need that much money. What was
the slap of reality that happened?
The slap of reality is ain't nobody looking for me. Like this is what I'm getting. This is what I'm getting.
Oh no.
Now don't get me wrong, I've had interviews.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, buddy.
What I'm finding is okay, so it's a mixture. I think the majority of people who see my resume are like, oh, we don't want him. He's old. He's going to be expensive. He's going to want a whole lot of money. And they don't even interview me. They're not even interested. They don't even want to talk to me.
Right.
They're like, nope, sorry, you're not the guy. Right. And then there's another group that actually does talk to me. And so I'll interview. And what I'm finding is it's a negative. Being older and self-employed a long time is a negative.
100%.
Because they're looking at you and they're like, well, so what? So wait a minute. So you weren't at a company. I mean, it's just very weird.
Dan, the people that were interviewing you, were you doing it on Zoom and they're like 35 years old?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's part of it.
Yeah,
but
that's rough.
I had what was the worst interview last week. Okay. And it was so bad. I texted this to you. It was so fucking bad that night I actually emailed them back and I was nice. I'm like, hey, thank you very much. Seems like a really nice place to work, but don't think it's right for me at this point in my career. Right. I withdrew.
You dumped them before they dumped you
they would have dumped me in a heartbeat. So
here's
what's so funny about it. This is what's so funny about this gig. This gig was so what I'm looking for, what I really want is a small to medium-sized company that is, because a small, medium-sized company, they're not interested in bullshit. They want someone who gets shit done. And you know what I mean? And that's fine. But what I want is a small to medium-sized company where you're dealing with real human beings who look at me and are like, wow, we're getting a guy who's been around a long time and we're getting a deal and he can help us with a bunch of different shit. So this company I thought was a really good fit because it's a small company. They do a type of technology that I know very well and have done for a long time. Okay. I should be their wet dream. I come right from their world. I'm not only a coder, but I know the business there. And I'm not going to say what it is, but it's a specific type of business that I know well. Right. And it's like, it's just, to me, it was like, wow, like it should be a slam dunk. But these people, I could tell they were very skeptical of me. It was funny. It was like, so let's role play, Bruce. Let's role play.
All right. Okay. Am I you?
Let's pretend you're me and I'm the interviewer. And Bruce, you're applying for a job with an art company. I'm sorry, with a t-shirt making company. Okay. This is a t-shirt company where you're making t-shirts.
It's a good correlation because I know what I'm doing in the world of t-shirts. And
they want a t-shirt guy, and they preferably want one who hates kids, and they preferably want one who likes Wasteland Weekend. Okay.
Here we go. Ready?
So you're thinking this is perfect. So
hey, hello. My name is Bruce. It's good to see you, Mr. Richmond. How are you doing?
Hi. So we're a family company, and we're very we get together for birthdays. So I know
Yeah.
this is a
Oh,
remote. I know this is a remote job, and you're hours away. You're like 6 hours away.
yeah. I'd be
In
printing the T-shirts for you in a different location, working on my
right,
own. Correct.
we're based in Santa Fe,
Okay.
and
Yes.
we like to get together for birthdays. So would you be able to come once a
Well, I
month?
mean, honestly, it would be. I would try my best, but I can't make any specific promises on those
So,
engagements.
so tell me, I see on your resume you've printed T-shirts before. As you
Yes,
know,
for
we're a T-shirt.
35 years, I printed many
As,
T-shirts.
okay, okay. As you know, we're a T-shirt company. So, do you know how to make the letters white on the T-shirt? Do you know how to
Yes,
do that?
it's a very basic thing, of course. You put white ink in the screen. Yes, I know how to make the letters white.
Oh, well, could you pass a test if we were to test you on making the white letters?
Bitch, I don't have time for this.
Well,
I've
we
already
like.
lost patience,
I
Dan.
mean, we like. Oh, did I mention? Did I mention? Our office has a foosball table.
I don't give a fuck about you, your foosball, and your white ink. You could shove it up your ass, right? I'd rather stand on the card. I'd rather stand on this fucking street sign with a cardboard sign than deal with your petty ass. I'm already angry, Dan. I'm,
I'm
I'm
not,
already
Bruce,
angry.
Bruce, Bruce. What we just went through is a small exaggeration, but it's pretty right dead on.
Oh,
And
I got 3 minutes through that before I
and
started.
they're asking me about things that I have done for 30, 25 years that I know very well,
Hence the white ink. Yeah,
and they're
that's like a basic.
skeptical of me. And it's weird. It's like, what do you? So you think that I'm 50 years old and I faked my resume? That's what you think? Like, and you're asking about the most basic of things. It's not like you're saying, "Hey, do you know advanced database work?" No, they're not
Well,
saying
I
to
mean,
you,
what you're
Bruce, can you?
dealing with, yeah, I think what you're dealing with right now is a systematic thing that you see across the whole economy, which is no one's really looking to hire. Like they say, nobody wants to work and we need employees. And it's like there's a worker shortage. No, there's not. These places just, and it's all different types of places. They're just thinking that they want a gold mine, they're looking for like the perfect person. Just get a body in there, start working. They're not
I
looking
don't
for
even
that.
see. I don't even think it's that. Here's what I think. I think I can do this much in the world they're doing, just like you with T-shirts. They don't
Yeah,
want that. They want this much. They
that
want
might be
this
of
much.
something to it. They want a really
This much.
focused guy,
This
very
much.
like,
Can you
yeah.
do this two things and work cheap, right? And look, I'll work cheap. I just want the right place. So this place ain't the right place. I knew that. Like that exercise we just did was pretty close to what that was,
And you know
Bruce.
what was annoying about that too, and I picked up on it, is the sort of like childlike, sort of like, they're talking down to you, like, hey, with this fake sort of like the
Yeah.
fake business speak, that every single job has, that I just wish I could talk to somebody in reality and be like, look, this is a job. It's not that great, but you come in here, you work, and we pay you money. How about that? Like if
But
you
again,
spoke like a real person, that would be nice rather than, hey,
all
hi.
scenario though. Imagine they're looking at your resume, and your resume says ran my own t-shirt business for 20 years, this, that, and the other with t-shirts. That, like, it's just so weird that they would go into these weird granular questions about the most basic of shit. It was the whole thing was strange. It was just strange.
Well, I'm sorry I had to deal with that, Dan. It sounds maddening for sure.
No, it's fine. Like I knew, even like, let's say I'm wrong and they hated me. They fucking hated me. But let's say
You're
they
like
didn't hate me.
George Costanza, where we know when people hate us.
Yes.
We're pretty aware.
So they hated me, but let's say they didn't, I wouldn't have worked there anyway. There's no fucking way.
Yeah,
Right.
good.
So
Wow. Well, I'm
that's
sorry
where
that happened to you this week. That's
that's
rough
pretty
one.
much where I am. And so like where I am, and I have a couple of concepts that I'm working, not concepts, but I've been invited by people who do startups to work on a couple of projects that could potentially be very good, right?
Right.
But
The always promising startup.
well, no, it will be my code, my tech, but it'd be working with some really smart people that I know personally who are good at what they do, and I think it would have a decent shot. But again, that's me quitting what is effectively easy money. Even though I'm miserable, it is easy money.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the thing. To start your own thing, which is going into uncharted waters, which could be potentially very rewarding, but risky financially
But
because
I
you don't
like
know.
if I made half what I make at my current gig,
Yeah.
working for myself, I would be way happier.
I think you could
Way
do it.
happier.
I think you could do it because I quit my job and I make less than half of what I made at the last gig. I do. And I'm somehow making it barely, but I mean, it's what are you drinking out of? Is that one of those Stanley things?
No, it's just a regular thing, and I have a diabetes
Oh,
guy on it.
diabetes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I have Dr.
Well,
Now. You like Dr. Now?
oh, I love
Why are you so fat? Yeah.
I watch Dr. Now clips all the time. I'm hungry. You could not eat
You don't
for
know how
5 days.
you can't eat a salad? Yeah.
You have
So
to walk.
that's my life right now. So basically I'm being very picky
I'm
about what.
sorry. Yeah, I
No, it's
mean,
okay. Don't be sorry. I got an easy life. I don't have children. I have a good life. I
you do
will
have a good
eventually
life. Dan's
I
got a pretty.
will eventually quit this gig for sure. But I mean, my thought is either I'm going to go transition into doing stuff for myself, or I'm going to find something that's a fit, like an actual fit with a human being who understands, oh, this guy knows what he's doing and we're getting somebody
How
cheap.
about this for a thought, though? If you're doing okay financially, what about the concept of breaking free of this mindset that we have to be working and just take a couple years off? What if you just decide, or you're not really wired that way? Like, I just want to.
No, I'm not wired that way in the sense that I don't do well idle. I need something to do.
Okay.
Right.
See, I do extremely well idle. I'm very good idler.
No, I don't need the money. What I need is something to do with just enough of a steady income to keep, to pay the bills and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm either going to get lucky and find a company like this is what you're describing, which is run by normal human beings who are like, oh, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. And it seems like he's going to come relatively cheap.
Yeah, but those things are rare, right? It'd be rare to run to get into a Zoom meeting and have instead of the 35-year-old speaking to you like a child, like straight from, that would just be like dead honest, be like, hey, Dan, how's it going? And talk to you like that rather than, hi, so we see, and then they're like, hey, Dan, how's it going? We see you're a little older. That's good. But we see you got a lot of, we see you got a lot of coding experience. So what are we going to do to get this done? Let's go. And just like a human being and make it just discussion and talk instead of this whole, so much I learned about in business. It's all acting and theatrics and just like there's very little actual work that goes on in the office. It's a lot of it's sickening. It's fucking sickening.
Yeah.
So is there anything else annoying to Heeb this week or mainly that's it? There's got to be something else.
Well, we're getting ready to put the house in the market, so the house is now fucking immaculate because we just had to get pictures.
Let's be clear: the house was always immaculate.
No, not like this.
Maybe you had like a corner that was less than immaculate, but I'm sure Kara kept that place to NASA spec clean room specifications.
Not as much as you'd think. I mean, but now it's immaculate. When the pictures come out, I'll send them to you.
So did you? Let me guess. You hired a photographer to come in and take pictures?
Well, I have an agent who did that, but yeah.
So the agent hires a photographer. It's a whole thing. Okay.
The whole thing, and then it goes in the market Thursday. Hope to Christ it sells quick because I hate having to clear out, take the dogs, wait for some schmuck to walk through my house.
Yeah, that's going to be the worst.
Who's going to ask stupid questions? And
are you going to be there when the guy walks through? You got to get out of there.
No, no. Rule number one: you get out. That's rule number one.
Okay, good. Yeah, get out.
The thing that's funny is my mother, who's almost 80, calls me.
Oh no!
And she's like,
"Do the accent."
Do you think you're going to be able to sell it with the pigs and the snakes? And I'm like, Mom. I said, Mom.
What's in her head? There are snakes slithering on the ground of the kitchen, and there are pigs like defecating on the kitchen floor.
And there's 17,000 pigs outside.
Yeah, and it's like a full That's in
right. Lord of the Flies. It's Lord of the Flies, right? I said, Mom, the pigs, if anything, there's only 3 of them. First of all, they're going to be outside. They're not inside. They're outside, and most people will think it's cute. They're not going to care.
Yeah, but it's just so funny to think about what's in an 80-year-old Jewish mother's mind.
And I said to it, to be fair, there are people with snake phobias, and we're going to let people know ahead of time that there's snakes in the house, and we'll probably close the door to the room and leave a sign that says, look, if you have a fear.
What do you got, like a snake in a cage, a glass cage, like a snake in a glass tank? No big deal. What's the problem?
because people with legit phobias of snakes, and they're out there.
Oh, trigger warning. Yeah, for sure.
Would not
Content warning.
even enter the home, let alone the room. The home, if there's snakes in it.
That's valid. That's valid as fuck.
It's not many of those people, but they're out there.
Is the snake kept in one room?
So we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 5 reptiles. They're all in one room. They're all in terrariums. They can't get out.
Well, then you could have that room shut off, close the door with a sign on it. Like
that's exactly what I'm going to do. It says it's going to say, here's my reptiles. Here are their names. They cannot get out.
They can't get out, bite you. They're very sweet.
During the day, they sleep. You won't even see them. If you're not afraid, you're welcome to walk through. If you are afraid and you would like to see this room, this is a fucking 100-square-foot bedroom. If you'd like to see this room, we can clear the snakes out later. I don't want to deal with this if it's not a serious fire. But yeah, so we're going to do that. But my mother is convinced that this house will not sell because of the pigs.
Listen, what are you doing with all these pigs?
I think it's a concern.
Snakes.
I think it's a concern.
Dan, nobody's going to buy the house if they come in and they see pigs and snakes and all this fakakta. What are you, Dr. Doolittle in there? Like, you can't have this going on. Are you a serious person? You got to sell the house.
Bruce, she knows, like you know, that we have very clean people. And like, I mean, to be fair, if you tell me somebody's got pigs and snakes, even I'm going to assume they're kind of messy. But like, we're not those people.
Yeah, I know.
And so
it's just funny. I like the picture in the head of your 80-year-old mom.
Yeah.
You know. So that's annoying to hear. The job hunt is brutal, and it's condescending, and it's frustrating, and it's nothing like we've ever experienced before. And then now you got to sell the house, which is a whole nother ball of stress. And that's annoying to Heeb. I mean, that's annoying.
Well, which goes on the market this week, with any luck, knock wood, by the time we do our podcast next Sunday, with any luck, it'll be what's referred to in the business as under contract, which means we will have a buyer who has agreed to buy it. And at that point, I can let it go. I can start being a slob again. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, until that happens, we have to keep this place like a museum.
I'm sure it's already a museum, but okay.
Nah, but more so than, you know, but we have dogs, man. It's hard with the dogs.
That's true.
Got to get the dogs out of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, the pigs are no biggie. The pigs are behind a fence and they're cute and they're just going to stare at you. But, you know, but yeah, that's me. I want to get on to you though. You've had a very,
I've had a stressful week too. You've
had a tumultuous week.
So I've had a very stressful week too. And it's just yesterday. So here's the picture of my death truck. Many of my listeners know that I have this Mad Max truck that is part sculpture, part, movie vehicle. Here it is, Dan. This is so Goyim to have a truck like this.
No, extremely.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
That's peak Goyim.
It
does not get more Goyim.
It is such a fakakta, pastime, as Dan would say. So I get this truck and I go out and I wear my shoulder pads on and I play Mad Max in the desert, and it's a lot of fun. I've been doing it for like 10 years with this truck. I've done everything there is to do with it, right? Now, underneath all this, decorations on it, this is a real deal. It's metal, it's welded. There's nothing styrofoam on it. That's for movies. Like, this thing can drive through a trailer pretty easily, and that front end is no joke. And the whole thing, it's made of metal. So this was a tough decision because, like, I don't have, a job now, and I like being just, retired and making art all day, but it's not really, no one's looking for me. Just like you said, no one's looking for me, right? No one's looking for my art.
No one's looking.
So it's like, all right, fuck it. So like, I need to make some money. Let me sell this thing. Now, it wasn't just a money, decision. It was, I'm sort of tired of having it for like 10 years. I've done everything there's to do with it. I put chicks on the front. We drive around. That's fun. We put people on the back and wave fake guns around. That's fun. I put a drum in the back. We did all kinds of shit. It's been in movies. It's been in specials. It's been in college movies. It's been in K-pop videos. I've done lots of things with this truck. And it's heavily, heavily used in the advertisement for Wasteland Weekend event, But I'm like, okay, what else is there to do? And by the way, when you have a vehicle like this, it's one thing after the next. There's always some sort of upkeep or problem you got to deal with. And it's just a hassle. Like, it's fun, but it is a hassle. So I'm like, I just started that. How much could I get for this thing? And someone told me an amount, and I was like, okay, I could live on that for like 9 months. You know what I mean? And that's how I look at things these days. I'm like, if I sell this painting and I got a couple $100 for it, I could live on that for a month. So if I sell this painting, I am going to not have to work for another month. And I literally take my life like that. 1 month at a time. I don't want to work. I don't want to work anymore. Unlike you, I don't need to be busy. I'm lazy. I could lie around and do nothing. And I fucking love it because I've been working my whole life. I'm tired of it. I'm 55. I don't give a fuck anymore. I really don't. And so, okay, I start thinking about you're laughing. And then so I think about, and I'm looking at the truck. I'm like, okay, I got to fucking sell this thing, right? Like it's time to go. So I put it out at the Wasteland community. It hung out there. And by the way, there are other people trying to sell their Wasteland cars, but this is the coolest one. This is one of the coolest. I'm sorry, it is. And so, it's sold. This guy contacted me. He's like, hey, he's a Wastelander too. So it's not like he would take it all apart. And he goes, hey, yeah. And we haggled a little bit on the price, but it's still definitely something worth wanting to do. So the thing is, okay, let's do it. The truck lives in Southern California. I'm out here in Arizona, and I got the title for the truck out here. And so when we had this whole thing about how to do this transaction, it was going to be like, I got to drive out to Southern California. He's from San Francisco. He's going to drive down from San Francisco. We're going to meet at this truck. I'm going to, do the deal right there, right? Like we're going to sign the bill of sale.
Why is the truck in Southern California?
I keep the truck at a friend's house in Southern California, and the guy that keeps it brings it to Wasteland Weekend. He only lives 30 miles away from Wasteland Weekend.
Oh, okay.
So he brings it out. There's service he provides, and I pay him for.
Gotcha.
And so that made sense because I used to drive this fucking thing all the way from Arizona to Wasteland Weekend. It gets 8 miles to gallon, and it broke down most times. But it's like, okay, so let's do this thing now where I drive all the way out to California with the bill with the title in my hand. This dude comes down, he meets me. Okay. So this is why I'm stressed, because I was stressed about this whole thing because that's a long drive. That's 8 hours drive. I had to go down there, unload the whole thing, make sure it worked. By the way, there's a massive rainstorm that was coming in, that big storm that Southern California had. Couldn't go over any mountain passes. It's 8 hours away. And I get in the car, my little car in the morning to drive out there, and it has car problems. It's like not shifting into gear. And I got Otis with me, and I'm like, I'm about to head off on an 8-hour drive with a car that's having problems, my little Hyundai, which has never had problem, decided to give me a problem the morning I left, Saturday morning. I'm like, here we go. I get, and Ro is on vacation somewhere, so I can't, she's not going to help. And I'm like, okay, I'm on my own. Let's go for it, Otis. I get Otis in the car, off we go. We drive all the way out there through all these horrible rainstorms, whatever. I get close to where the truck is at. The last 2 miles where the truck is at are at the end of a dirt road. The dirt, let me tell you, it's been raining and the mud is atrocious. You need a truck like this to get in and out. I've got my little Hyundai and I'm slipping and sliding. I'm almost getting stuck. Finally, I get out there. I'm stressed, by the way, now, like really stressed, hungry, cranky, whatever. Good news is I get there and, long story short, like the guy gets there, he's super happy with it. Like he's dazzled. Oh my God. I give him for like a little test drive around the mud and just, and he's just like, oh my God, this is awesome. And he said in the beginning, like, how do you want me to pay for it? You want to do Venmo? You want to do this money order? I'm like, no. I want you to hand me a bag of 20s like it's a drug deal. And he goes, all right. So sure enough, he hands me.
Oh, that was the picture you sent me.
Yeah. So it's a bet,
Nice.
it's just a bunch of money. He goes, here you go. And it was great. I had, it's been a while since I had a wad of cash like that. I love it. I love fucking cash,
It is, yeah.
So I something about it, and they were all crisp like bills, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun. I feel like a drug dealer. This is great." I took pictures of it, all that, sent it to Dan. So anyway, I'm like, "Okay, that's great." And then, but it was sad to sell it. I will tell you, emotionally. And the dude got in the truck and drove it away, like immediately. He just got in the truck and drove it away, and I was like, "Well, there goes that." And boy, that was emotional. I was not expecting to be emotional because this truck, as you know, has been a part of my personality and everything for a long time, for like 10, 15 years. And off it goes, And so that was a little weird. And then I get in the car to try to drive back home. And sure enough, it's having car problems. Now, Dan, here's what really happened. I'm in my little Hyundai the next day after staying in a hotel. I'm ready to drive home. I got an 8-hour drive ahead of me. And I'm at one of these intersections at the green hour. I'm trying to make a left, right? There's semis behind me. All of a sudden, the car just drops out of gear. My little car drops out of gear. It's not moving.
Oh, no.
Semis behind me start honking. And it's a busy fucking intersection way in the middle of nowhere in California, like at a truck stop. And I'm right at the intersection. I can't put it into gear. And it's the worst moment in the world. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. It is just like you get out of the car and you have to wave the trucker by. I'm sorry. And then I keep on turning the car off and on and still fucking with the gear and stuff like that. And then Dan's showing the picture I sent him with the money. That's attractive. So anyway, it sucked. I finally got all the way home. It was stressful.
Yeah.
To get all, I mean, it's 8 hours. I don't do well with driving. It's 8 hours. And by the way, the whole drive back, I'm afraid that the car is going to dive in an intersection, right? So the whole drive back, I'm like blowing through any kind of red light, or like I just started breaking laws because I'm driving on the shoulder at any traffic. Oh, yeah. I just don't give a fuck. I'm like, I've got it in my head. Like, I'm going to get me and Otis, like, you may have your dog with you. You're like, I got to get home.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I got to get home. I got to get me and this dog home. And so all laws go out the window. And I'm doing these moves with my little Hyundai. Just fucking. So that was stressful. And then I spent all today trying to self-diagnose and fix this car. And I can't. And I already brought it to the mechanic. And they're like, well, there's no check engine light, so we don't know what to do. So now I'm like, Dan, give me advice. What do I do now? Do I bring it to the Hyundai dealership? Because I had brought it previously. Because the Hyundai dealership was going to rate me, right? They're going to rate me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're going to love it. But last time I brought it to the mechanic, it had this problem actually a couple weeks ago, and I brought it to the mechanic. I'm like, look, it's real intermittent. It just drops out of gear. It only did it twice, and the check engine light never came on. And I brought it down there, and they're like, well, we can't even run a diagnostic on it because if it doesn't have a check engine light, we don't know what to do. So now I'm in like no man's land all day today. I've been like this fakakta like YouTube and Google, and I don't know what to do. And on stupid Facebook groups, people telling me what to do. And I'm just like, at this point, I want to spend half that money just to get this problem taken care of. Like, I'm so annoyed with it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Man.
Me and you both have very tough situations, and we don't have answers for each other. You got this fakakta job search. I don't know what to tell you. I got this car problem. You don't know what to tell me. I mean, listen, it's been a week, brother.
It has been a week.
Let me tell you what else is annoying me this week, though. Okay. Now, I'm going to sandwich this. It's April Fools, all right? What annoys me, and I'll just sandwich them together. It's Easter and April Fools. Easter and April Fools, right? Now, I probably said it before. I fucking hate holidays and all holidays. I really do hate holidays. Yeah. With the exception recently of Thanksgiving because it involves gluttony.
Food, yes.
But really I hate like Easter since it's so based around this fucking Christianity, Right. And like, he's risen on the third day. And I just remember because I was forced to go to, church. And you just like, that's why it's the Heeb Goy show, because I'm a goy. And, up until about age 13, I was forced to go to church every fucking Sunday and catechism and Sunday school and all that bullshit. And you hear these same stories sitting in there, even as a very young man, 5 years old. And I'm like, what the fuck? You mean he just died? And then there was a cave and then they rolled this circular stone and they went in there to check out this dead body 3 days later and he wasn't there. What the fuck? And then like even then it didn't make sense. So now it's Easter, right? And Easter's everybody like, oh, happy Easter, happy Easter. And, God bless them. I mean, I got family and friends and relatives who are still semi-religious and I get the text, happy Easter, happy Easter. And I'd be lying if I didn't tell you, Dan, that when I get a text like that, it says happy Easter, I'm kind of like, the fuck? Happy Easter? I'm 55. Do I really believe?
Can I one up that? Can I one up that for you?
Yes.
Can I one up that?
Am I out of my mind for being annoyed at this? I mean, and then
I'm going to one up you on this.
All right, please do.
That is not as bad as when your fucking Jewish relatives tell you Happy New Year in September.
when all your friends are like, it's September, it's not New Year's. Like, what?
Okay. Where do we begin? Number one, these are my relatives. They know me. I have not set foot in a synagogue.
Oh, you're talking about currently, like 50-something-year-old Dan.
Now, right now. Oh. Every year I get this. Every year I get Happy New Year. I have a cousin, and
it's been so long. It's been so long that you're like, New Year's not in September. New Year's not in September.
No, I know what they mean. They're referring to Rosh Hashanah. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah.
let me tell you something right now. Okay, I would rather go to Chuck E. Cheese amidst screaming children than go to synagogue for Rosh Hashanah. That is how much I would avoid.
Okay, let me ask you this, from one goy to the Heeb. Is synagogue on Rosh Hashanah as bad as church is on Easter? Because it's got to be, like, that's the big show. Like, when you're a goy, it's Easter and Christmas. A lot of Catholics don't go to church. They just do those 2 days.
C&E.
Christmas
and C&E. Yeah, I know.
Right? So you do, like, is that the same thing with Jewish
family? Let me tell you. I have a unique, listen, you're getting me on a good topic. I was a religion major in college. So
I know you were.
So the thing that makes Rosh Hashanah so fucking awful, and way worse than Easter, by the way.
Debatable. It's a personal experience.
You only say this because there's not that many Jews and you haven't had to deal with it. I am telling you, if I had to either go to an Easter service or to a Rosh Hashanah service, it's not even a fucking debate.
So brass tacks, how many hours is it? How many hours?
Okay, first of all, it's long. Okay,
it's what?
That's number one. Long.
But 1 day or a week long? Is it like spread out?
Okay, well,
like Hanukkah?
I'm glad you asked that, because Rosh Hashanah is not only a holiday; it's a week. It's a holy week that is punctuated at the end by Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It is a week, a soul-sucking week, where everyone is harassing you about Happy New Year or about atoning.
Well, say no more. You won already. If it's a week long compared to Easter, which is
you're
5
not
hours.
At synagogue for a week. Yeah,
I know, but it's still. But look,
how long is an Easter service? An hour?
Easter service at church is going to be like a Easter day when you're a goy is going to be just 1 day. But it's before it and afterwards, it's done. So you already win. I mean, yes, the church is a long service. Sometimes it's about an hour or two. But the whole day of Easter, is taken up.
Rosh Hashanah services take forever. Number one, it's a long fucking situation. A and B, it is a boring fucking holiday. At least, look, I'm not a fan of Easter. I would not want to go to synagogue or church.
There's chocolate involved.
All right, there's some candy. You got some colored eggs with a bunny. Whatever.
The goys do a good job with.
Goyim are good at making these holidays kind of interesting.
They're kind of like steer away from the boring religious aspect.
There is nothing good about Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur.
They don't have like Rosh Hashanah eggs or Rosh Hashanah baskets.
There's nothing. And then I have my relatives giving me the Happy New Year. And every year, somebody catches me by surprise because they do it early. And I'm like, what? And then it occurs to me, okay.
So that's why I get annoyed, because, like, I don't know. I feel bad because I love my sister very much, and she listens to this podcast. She's one of the 10 people who listen to this podcast. She's a fan. And so I know she's going to hear this and be like, I sent you a happy Easter text. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So, but like, everyone sends happy Easter text. I don't know, but I'm sort of like cranky with that. I'm like, Easter? Really? We're still doing this? Like, and actually I had the balls to sort of like, a couple years ago, 2 years ago, to send a widespread text to all my family and friends. And you know what I did, Dan? I said, I'm dropping out of Christmas. I'm no longer participating in Christmas. I did this 2 years ago. I've got lots of aunts and uncles, and we used to send cards and gifts.
I think you told me this.
And so, so a couple years, it's balls. Look, the punk rocker in me came out, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just not doing this anymore. And so I dipped out of Christmas, and it was great. It's been great, because now Christmas comes and goes, no cards, no gifts, no nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, I know.
And it's the best. And so, but now Easter happens, and it's like, happy Easter, happy Easter. And then to follow that right after to April Fools, which is really annoying, especially on Facebook. April Fools. You put up the April Fools graphic.
Yeah.
April Fools graphic is so annoying to me, because it's just like, oh, April Fools. Like, they post some dumb article that's like not real, and then it's like, April Fools. And I'm like, you know what? Are knock
Yeah.
knock jokes funny? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's so
I don't.
dumb.
I don't like being treated like a child. Like
Thank
that's
you, Dan. Thank
and
you. Exactly. I don't like, hey, April Fools. And, you know, like, no, I'm
It's funny,
55.
it's funny on this topic. This came up the other day in my life. I have a friend who has a family. She's married into this family, and they have her in-laws have adult kids, like 22 and 25, somewhere in there, right?
Uh-huh.
Adult kids. And
Oh, no.
every year, there's a group text comes out that says, we're having a party for so-and-so kid with, cake and ice cream, the whole thing. And the kid's into it. And
Wait
I'm
a minute.
thinking,
Is this your friend Michelle's husband, or that we talked to before? What's her name?
I don't want to disclose, I mean, yes, it's her, but I don't want to get her in trouble, but yeah, it's her. So she's got these nieces, and
No, but it wasn't the nieces before. It was the husband and the twin
yeah, I didn't
brother.
tell you. Wait, so it's got these nieces. They're like 22 and 25.
Is
And
everyone in this family sort of childlike? Like,
they're into it, dude. When you were 22, let me ask you this. Here's a quiz.
All right, ask me.
This is a quiz. When you were
Okay.
22 years old.
22. I remember that well. I'm 22.
What is the last place on earth you wanted to be for your birthday?
Around my family.
Yeah. Can you imagine picking up? Well, there's no cell phones back then, but can you imagine calling your relatives and saying, "We're having a potluck for my birthday, and you got to come over. We got milk and ice cream and cake."
I would want to be buried balls deep in some strange chick snatch, like in a drunken stupor, like in some dirty basement in a house that I don't even remember getting there. Like, that's where I want to be.
It's a flaw of mine, and you're the same way.
Oh my God.
I really try and say to myself, okay, Dan, this is you. Everyone has their own way of doing things. But
I struggle with this too.
The idea of a 22-year-old having a birthday party at their parents' house with cake and ice cream and their uncles and whoever else is so fucking weird to me.
Bro, it's not only weird, like that would literally be my hell. Like, there's no place I'd rather just go to work. You know what I mean? If I had
Let me ask you this. Right. What is the maximum age where, if you're told there's a birthday party for that kid, let's say it's your nephew, where you're not thinking, what the fuck? Like,
then it becomes a little weird. Okay.
What's the maximum?
At 18 years old, this shit should stop.
Well, yeah, that's a given. I just meant, what's the maximum age where you're like, the kid's into it and that's cool because he's a kid. What's the maximum?
I mean, I think you're right around there, like a 23, because like I get how some people
23. I'm thinking like fucking 12. Like,
no, because I know how people, how there's sweet 16 parties. That's a thing.
Hey,
people turn 18. That's a big. You're an adult when you're 18, and then there's another. 21 is a big one too.
But you don't want you don't want 21. What do you want to be around your mommy for? Like,
that's true. About 21. Okay.
No, the question is not celebrating your birthday. It's celebrating with your mommy and your daddy at their house with the fucking ice cream.
I'd say you're closer to 15. When I'm 15, I kind of, you know how it is. Like, I don't know. I guess some people are different. Like, I love my family and everything like that, but it's like, I think there's there's people that are just like so into the notion of family, where it becomes like, and I know I'm going to get heat for this and stuff, but it becomes like this weird cult-like sort of like constantly together for their whole lives. And it's just
like obligation for the sake of obligation.
And it's like, but I mean, I know that I'm weird, and me and you are like I'm just going to like, the bird leaves the bird's nest and lives its own life.
Fuck that. We're not weird. I think a 22-year-old who's having a birthday party at home with mommy is fucking weird. Now, 15-year-old, not weird, right?
15-year-old,
16.
Okay. No, you want to get, look, when you're 15, 16, that's getting right around the age where you want to get away from mom and dad.
Yeah.
I know this is how I went. That's all my friends were back home east. When you get 15, 16, it's about like, hey, I'm going to go over Andrew's house and we're going to have a party. But really Andrew's mom's out of town. And so you go out to a cornfield with fucking a bottle of Mad Dog and some cigarettes.
Right.
And, and that's what happens. And you just want to have your own individual as a person. So it's like this whole this April Fool's thing.
Oh.
It just drives me nuts to have like, it's most annoying on Facebook. By the way, all these things are super. I think Facebook makes things annoying. Like if there's Easter and people are sure, he is risen, like Easter memes and stuff. And then April Fools, like bad articles that are clearly fake. And, I'm just like, can we not? And it was so great to pull out of Christmas entirely. Like, and I'm thinking maybe, luckily I don't have to do anything for Easter, but like, it is just this weird cultural thing. My sister the other day just dug out a bunch of old like videotapes that she had restored. Not videotapes, but like that film, whatever, that they used to record Super 8 or whatever. And she's got video of her and me that my dad recorded when she's like 3 and I'm like 5, celebrating Easter on Easter morning. And to see me and her running out on the 1970s house and, there's Easter eggs and stuff like this, and there's chocolate bunny. And I'm like, wow, that was like every year. Like Easter was a big fucking deal in the Goyam's house, a big deal in the Boyd's house, And then, but then it's so tied in with religion because then you got to go put on your suit, always putting on the suit, getting on your best dress and going to church. And the parents, mom and dad are very happy to have their little blonde haired, like little like greeting cards, family. Here we are at church and stuff, and just ignoring them. And in my mind, I just can't stop thinking about the evil that goes on in organized religion. And like, I just keep thinking about it. Like, I'm so glad I wasn't.
I just don't care. And on Easter, Jews keep a low profile. We stay out of sight.
Yeah, you're smart. Yeah, I mean, it's just. But that's annoying me. That's what annoyed. It annoyed me to have to drive all the way to California in a car that's given me problems all of a sudden. By the way, this is my Hyundai Veloster that just like, it's been working fine for 5 years, and all of a sudden it decides to not work the day I need to drive to California and get this money. But I got the money. I got it right here,
Love it.
And it's going to help me live I'm going to live on that truck sale for almost a year. I figured it out. For almost a year, I could just live and not work and just scrape by, just do what I need to do, whatever. And I'm done with working. I'll make some more art, whatever. But like, that's what's okay. So this is in the hotel room. After I stayed there and I got the hotel, I get to the hotel and I'm like, okay, that's Otis in the background. He
I love Otis. I know. I said hi, Otis, when I saw him.
Yeah, he's got this ghost face, right? He's got the frosted face, And so I put him there, right? And stayed in the hotel. And just like, I was happy to be there. And just like,
I need to Photoshop that face like onto a guy from gay porn, like, it's perfect.
No, I mean, I hate my face. I hate looking at myself. Like, please don't do that. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I'm going to start like removing mirror. And you know what? Oh my God, Dan, a couple days ago, I had to do this thing where like, I even asked you about it. I think I'm like, what do I do with all these photos on my phone? My iPhone's being loaded up with fucking photos and I don't know what to do. So, I download the photos on like Google Photos and like, I know it's backed up in the cloud or whatever. I'm not good with that. So now I'm having difficulty with all these photos. Like, what do I do with these photos? And I have an OCD about it. Like, I can't delete a thing. I can't delete a single photo. So I'm on my Google Photos page and I go back to about, it take all back 2000, whatever, 12, whatever. I'm just scrolling through all these old photos and I see pictures of myself from 2018. And Dan, I'm here to tell you that 2018 was the last
6 years ago.
Yeah, it's the last time I looked any good. I know we talked about, what's the term? Confidence and being liking the way you look. I forget the word we used. But like I was looking through all these photos, I'm like, wow, 2018, that's when like I wanted to like get in shape for this cosplay thing that I needed to do and walk around with my shirt off out there, and like I went to the gym and I finally got in shape. 2018 was peak old man Bruce, and so now it's just like I'm hitting the wall and hitting it fast, and it is fucking gross, bro.
It is what it is, man. I still think in the grand scheme, you and I are doing pretty good in terms of that in that department compared to a lot of guys our age. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
But
But you know, that's what's going on. So what else were we going to talk about? That we got these guests coming up?
yeah, so I heard back from her, and I think she really wanted to do it, and she couldn't find someone who wanted to. But she
She
found someone
couldn't
who's.
find the right friend who was like, ew, I'm not talking to two unknown. I'm not talking to your creepy uncle and his creepy friend and two unknown 50-year-olds
I do
who
not
have a
blame them at all.
podcast.
I like. There's no
I don't
judgment
either. Be like, and
whatsoever.
my
But
social. By the way, I had people coming up to me that listen to the podcast and were like, people our age, like, wow, I listened to your last podcast. Social footprint? Social footprint? It's the first time people heard that word, that term.
look, man, I don't blame them one bit. But at the
I don't
same
blame
time,
them.
I think it'll be a fun conversation. She's got a friend who's going to come do it, and you know, I am like you are weird about it. I'm not weird about it at all. I am always fascinated by people in different walks of life
Yeah.
who have different kinds of experiences than I do, because you can never really know what someone's going through. So
No, no. I don't want to take it too wrong. I think it's going to be a good interview. I just think that in society, as we are right now, it's a bit of a minefield, because you got two old white guys who are 50 years old are going to be talking to two pretty 20-something-year-olds. And
again,
if you
context, I've known this girl since she was a young child.
okay, but I mean,
We
you got
are
to
close.
explain it.
We are close. I'm very close with her mother and her grandmother
Yeah.
and her brother, and it's fine. It's
All right.
not weird at all. And you know, look, I mean, it'll be fine. I just want to hear what life is like. Look,
I'm looking forward to it.
I want to know, like, you go to fucking Subway. I want to know everything. I want to know, like, so you're at Subway, you're standing in
I want to
line.
know, like, how it is, because they can go to, I've seen this where, like, they can go, the pretty girls can go to a bar with, like, no money, right? And just sort of like,
yeah,
dudes will buy them. But then, I mean, it's super scary to think about people spiking their drinks. And I mean, there's some real
things are
scary.
much. Listen, man, things are much tougher on these kids now
Oh
than
my
they were
God.
for
On so
us.
that, you know what, things are much tougher for young people in so many different
In every
departments.
way. I was talking about this
Yeah.
today, about how our generation was a small generation. There's just not as many of us. And so when we came out of college or high school, there was just more for everything. There's more jobs, there's more everything. And than there is now. These kids are having a much harder time. And it's just, you know, I always tell them, anytime someone my age give you some shit about how you need to fucking pick yourself up by your bootstraps, tell them that I said to fuck off.
Yeah, fuck
because
you.
These kids have it way harder, and I see it all the time in my life. I see it all the time. And like,
plus you think about, like, the way that, you know, when we were that age, like, I graduated college, moved out to California, just drove out there with a couple $100, got an apartment from some money. I only brought like $1,000 with me. Literally drove out to California, not knowing a soul out there, got an apartment, put like $300 down, you know, got an apartment, and then started calling up screen printing places, walked into one, and like I printed a couple shirts. They're like, hired. I was working the next day. I mean, it couldn't have been easier. It couldn't have been easier. And to have, oh, you got to fucking your resume, do the fucking, and like they want you to jump through these hoops. Like, tell me what your biggest failure is and how you, you know, or like what they want
what
you to
do you
jump through
like the most about screen printing?
Yeah, no, I don't like it. I mean, I like it. It's okay. I make money. Like, I wish we could just get rid of this whole narrative and this performative thing and just look. I just need to work and make money. I don't care.
Can we drop the bullshit, please?
Can we just drop the pretense? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what we got this week. But
Dan's yawning on me now. Dan's yawning.
It is fucking almost 9 o'clock here. I am whooped. This job is killing me. I got so much going on. But
hey, I want to bring one more thing to you.
I need you here as my henchman. If you were here as my henchman, I could give you a lot of shit to do, and I would have less to do. And
give me an idea what the day. Give me what is a day of Dan's henchman? A day in the life of Dan's henchman.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk through it.
Okay, so you're my henchman.
I wake up.
You show up. You come over at 8:30 in the morning.
Right.
You feed the pigs. Okay.
I love it.
That's you then hang out. You hang out, chill, use the Wi-Fi, and then at 9:15 you pick up the bowls. You give the pigs their little daily treats, and you wash the bowls. You put the bowls away. Okay.
Oh, I love this.
You then go into the chicken coop. You grab the eggs. You clean it up. You clean up the chicken area, and then you come in the house and you have a cup of coffee. You chill out, whatever.
Good.
Then I find out, hold on. Then I find out we have a tenant moving out in a few days, and I need you to head over there. And I need you to suss it out. Hey, what are we dealing with? Is it going to be, how gross is the place? Is it mildly gross? Is it massively gross?
Get some eyes on the place.
Get some eyes. Get some eyes. Take this lockbox out. Hey, I might need you to make a copy of a key. Also, get this lockbox. Get that lockbox on the property. Check the place out. Find out when the fuck they're leaving. And and then I need you to make a run to other couple properties we're getting ready to list as well.
I would be good at this job.
And again, these are nice. The tenants are nice. These are not shitheads. There's no.
I mean, they're nice and stuff, but it's still. I see. You need a human being to go over there and clap them along, right?
That's right. Clap along. You're clapping them along.
Just be like, you walk in. You're like, okay, how's it going, Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Okay, so I see here on the paper you got to go. It looks like it's over at like 4th. Are we ready? You're taking this with you? Okay. What about that mark over there?
You're sussing. You're sussing. Because I need to know, all right, am I just cleaning the carpets? Do we need like a full fucking like major Martinizing, go crazy thing? What are we doing?
I got a clipboard.
What are we doing? What are we doing? And then I need you to go, and then you get with my agent. You say, all right, you get her involved. I mean, there's always something to do.
Yeah.
And like today, like I'm walking around the yard, and I'm like, there's this weird low spot. It's where we had a tree taken out, but it's a weird like divot. And in Florida, people are super paranoid about sinkholes. This is not a sinkhole. This is where a tree came out. And it's just like
there's probably loose dirt from where the root ball used to be.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I thought, what we're going to do is we're going to plant a little plant there.
Love it.
That way, no one will question it, because I don't need anyone asking me. It's a stupid question. It's clearly not, but that's not even. I don't even want anyone asking. So I went to Lowe's.
Best to just disguise it with a tree or something, and
picked up a tree, grabbed some topsoil, dug a hole. So you would have been doing all of this. I would have been sitting in here writing code and luxuriating.
So you need someone to actually go out in the world and interact with human beings and like that, like.
Dude, I would keep you busy. The thing is, it's a win-win. You need income. I got money. I just don't want to do any of this shit.
I would love to do that shit. I would love to get out there in the world and just mix it up with people.
Look, once we move into the house that we are building, like by like next spring, we're talking about putting like a little travel trailer outside, because we have hookups that we're gonna have. Like you could live there and be my henchman. Although by then I won't need a henchman.
Well, it is funny because, I mean, eventually Ro and I are going to be fully nomadic in little trailers and stuff like this, and then just pull up like the Beverly Hillbillies up to Dan's place.
No, man, I'll have connections, because I'm getting no. We're getting like connections for an RV put in, because we're going to live in an RV for a while.
Oh my God.
So you could come, bring your RV, plug it in. Although the thing is, by the time this happens, I won't need a henchman. I'm selling all my real estate. I'm not going to need it. I'm going to need a henchman.
By then, but here's the deal. By then, you'll be such an introvert that you will need a henchman to do like, hey, I need you to go to the grocery store for me. Hey,
that's not a henchman. That's a schlepper. There's a difference between a henchman and a schlepper.
Can I henchman people? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, a henchman would mean at some point I get to rough someone up, and I kind of
look, in rental properties, that's always a possibility. And then we are selling all our rentals. It will not be complete till next spring. So this year is the henchman year. Like, if
it's been a while since I've roughed somebody up, but I do think about it a lot. Like,
no, you wouldn't have to get physical. You just need the threat of it. You just bring a baseball bat, and you're like,
baseball bat, and just have my East Coastness come out. No problem.
So when you moving out? When you moving out? What? Monday? Did you say Monday?
The move is when you have a baseball bat to use it as a pointer. Like, it's not threatening. You're like, hey, what's going on with this water stain right over there? That one right over there. And you're pointing it with the bat, and it's aluminum too. You don't fuck with the wooden ones. Aluminum.
No, so that's where we're at, man. But so next, I'll let you know for the girls are going to do Sunday. Otherwise, by Sunday, I should have maybe some news. Hopefully, things are going to get dicey, because we might still be showing it. So I might have to be on location. Can you imagine doing the
podcast right now and having these random people walking behind you?
No, you got to clear out, man. Rule number one, clear out. So if we have showings, I'll do the podcast from like somewhere else. I'll go to a coffee shop or something.
Oh my God, remote location at a coffee shop.
And I just hope I'm not dealing with douchebags. Like, I'm going to be a dick. I'm going to be a dick.
Yeah, I mean. Sorry, we both had rough weeks. To sum it up, we both had rough weeks staying in the job hunt, and me dealing with, trying to scrape up money and selling
Do you know
cars.
how to make the letters white? Can you do
Oh my
that?
God.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
such a good example. Excuse me, coding. Can you make the bar on the top of the website blue instead of
Do you
green?
know how to use a computer?
Uh, uh,
Yeah.
I can't
Um,
imagine. I can't
I
imagine, dude. I'm just so done. Like I see every now and again, Dan, there was like this job thing. One more thing, I'll let you go. Just for fun, I look for jobs sometimes. Like what could I do, right? So one of them said, this was on like Craigslist, and it said, um, nighttime parking lot sweeper, right? Now
yeah.
listen to this job. This is a great job.
Yeah.
So you drive around in one of those trucks that just sweeps shit up,
Oh,
and like,
like King of All Blacks on Howard Stern.
yeah, it just
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah.
sweeps it up with these big circles, and you do it at night. You do it in
No
Arizona, and
one's
you do it at
around.
parking lots in businesses that are no one's there, and that's what you do. And you do work by yourself. You listen to your radio, and you just drive around at nighttime shift and do this. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. I go to this place called Winco, which is a 24-hour food store, food collective, and I go there in the middle of the night, and I see the guy. I'm like, oh, I'm talking to him. So I see the guy, and I'm like, hey man, I saw this ad. Is this the job? Is this the company? He's like, oh yeah. And he's kind of like grizzled, dirty guy. And I start, interviewing him about the job. I'm like, how is this? Would I like this? He's like, it's not so bad. I could smoke a little weed, get high, and smoke cigarettes and stuff like this. The guy was dead, and I'm like, oh wow. And then I was leading. I'm like, you drink a little alcohol? He's, yeah, sometimes stick a nip. No one cares. And I'm like, oh fuck. And I'm like, do you have to deal with like homeless people and stuff? He's like, yeah, there's some homeless people. I just sweep them away. I'm like, oh, that's great. And this guy just like fucking, this guy was nuts. And then and then I'm like, hey, okay, I'm kind of interested. I didn't like the homeless part, but it's like, really, I'm not interested in all because I don't want to work. Even like this job sounds good. So then I'm like, let me watch you how you do it. Dan, the guy, it didn't even have a vacuum that sucked things in. It just kind of blows shit out to the side.
Yeah.
And he went real fast doing like a figure 8 and just kind of just blowing shit out. He barely cleaned it. He just sort of moved things around.
He just moved dirt from one
He
place
just
to
moved
another.
dirt around and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, Jesus Christ. Anyhow, buddy, look, you're tired.
Yeah, it's late. I gotta go.
Have a nice. It's 8:00. It's 8:00 at night for Dan. Very late for Dan.
Nine.
He's got,
It's nine. Now it's
wow,
9.
so late. Holy shit, man.
It's like 6 there, right?
Hey, how was my Wi-Fi signal? Did my video break up? Is my sound
No,
bad?
you're good. You're good.
You know why? Because Rose not here on the. It's just the only signal is me.
That's why. Yeah, she was that. I think that's probably true. Your
Yeah.
shitty Wi-Fi is fine as long as she's not watching like Netflix. But
yeah,
we're gonna sign off, everybody. But stay tuned for the eventual interview with the kids.
Now that's going to be next week, right? Next Sunday.
I don't know. I said to her anytime she wants. I said we tape on Sundays. Just let me
Sundays.
know. So, yes.
I love it.
But there will be updates for sure by Sunday.
Oh my God,
for
I'm
me,
looking forward
and
to that.
who knows.
Have questions. We're going to find out what it's like to be a really good-looking young
22-year-old, 21, 22.
Oh my God, with the world ahead of you.
The world. You got the world. The thing is, we'll talk about this just to preview. Those girls have the world by the balls, and they have no idea, no clue.
So, is it going to be your job to sort of clue them in and sort of give them tips?
I'm going to clue them in. I'm going to tell them, listen. Let me just tell you, as a woman, this is prime time. As a man at your age, you're fucked. But at my age, we're in good shape because there's fewer of us who are single. Like, anyway, we'll get it.
Oh yeah, that's just a teaser. It's going to be great. It's going to be
all right,
great.
Everybody. Enjoy. Hablishkin Moida.
Peace out.